Good morning, everyone, and today we are finally watching the end to the Summoner's Beast storyline in Gojirolith versus the Unkillable Dragon. Let's hop in and begin.
Today's episode is the series finale of the Summoner's Beasts, a saga set within my original Multiverse Tales stories. If you happen to click on this video out of context of the full series because there is a version of Godzilla on the thumbnail, I highly recommend going back to the start of the Summoner's Beasts playlist, which I'll link in the cards and description, which will also get you caught up on the most interesting stuff happening in Multiverse Tales this year. But anyway, now on to the finale. Let's go! Hit like
if you want, subscribe if you feel like it. By the way, enjoy the show.
You brought me here to finally devour the summoner,
snarled the vicious, unkillable dragon. Its voice alone was enough to shake the bones in my body.
Oh god.
Always a joker, Snag Bazmore. I told you, this is a friendly match. Tyrion and his friends are your allies now.
Toralei replied casually to the fiend.
I have no allies. I barely tolerate you, Archon.
Such a sweet talker you are. Now go on, play with your old friend Tikleaz.
I backed away slightly.
Here we go.
Toralei, how is that monster back? We killed it with a weapon strong enough to slay the Reaper. She was clearly enjoying my fearful response.
Oh, I'm well aware, but you see, I'd been looking forward to coming to this world so I could make friends with this beautiful monstrosity. Snag Bazmore, or the Unkillable Dragon as the Slayers called him, is an anomalous...
Snag Bazmore? Is that how you're pronouncing the name? Like, legit question, because I have no idea.
...of the multiverse. Even us Archons aren't sure how a monster as deadly as him came to be, and yet versions of him pop up here and there. They're always able to adapt to anything that tries to hurt him or stop him or kill him. Only thing they can't adapt to is the Reaper's own energy, and, apparently, weapons made from it. The fact that you actually managed to kill him just before I finally took physical form really put a damper on me plans. So as soon as you killed him, I got to work putting his energy back together from the non-physical realm to make him one of my demon generals. Took a long time, but I got it eventually, and as long as I let him run rampant on worlds where he can destroy whatever he wants, ones with no sentient life, of course, he does what I say when I call on him, also because he secretly loves me.
I despise all humans and demons and beasts and beings alike.
Okay, so thankfully she did not get in contact with the Scarlet King. Thank God.
Roared.
Oh, he doesn't mean that. Or maybe he does, but I'm an exception.
I stared at the monster for a moment. I then looked down at the crowd of onlookers, many of whom seemed as uncomfortable as I was. I looked specifically to my love Kayla, who'd been there to help on the day we managed to rid my world of this monstrosity. She shrugged, clearly unsure of what I should do as well. Finally, I crossed my arms. No, I'm sorry, this battle is over. I trust you, but I don't trust that dragon. I'm not putting the life of my summons at risk for what was meant to be a battle largely for entertainment and training purposes. Toralei rolled her eyes.
Oh, come on, Tyrion. I was just trying to give you a funny little shock by revealing him. But he's not as bad as you think. Snag Bazmore, seriously, you kill anything and I let the Slayers chain you up again, got it?
He breathed out through his nostrils and bursts of black fire shot on either side of Toralei's body.
I only comply because I want to face something more mighty than the futile insects there are to be found in the world you've let me ravage. And because I have the slightest fragment of respect for the summoner for successfully slaying me. That is no simple task.
Technically, Dresden had been the one to kill it, but hearing any amount of praise from this creature was not something I ever would have anticipated. Still, I was hesitant to let any of my beasts anywhere near it. Though, if
I mean, that's completely acceptable, because if you know anything, even a pinch of this monster's lore, yeah, you completely understand what he's getting at.
Beasts could best it in combat, that would essentially prove that I had a roster of monsters mighty enough to qualify me as one of the heavy hitters, so to speak, of my team of allies. I would feel all the more confident sending them up against Archon demon generals and even Archons in the future. Toralei could clearly tell I was still undecided and added a very tempting new layer to our battle.
Alright, how about this, Tyrion? If you go through with the rest of the battle, not only will Snag Bazmore here not kill any of your monsters, but If you do somehow manage to beat him, I'll let you make this pretty dragon here one of your new summons.
My head lurched
Wait.
back in shock as
Wait. So C pretty much just said, if you can defeat this guy, I will let you make him one of your summons. That is definitely a great deal.
if I'd been struck in the face. You'll what? I don't trust that dragon to fight my creatures. Why would I trust it to do what I say when summoned by me? To my surprise, the dragon itself replied.
The embarrassment of being summoned by a feeble human is outweighed only slightly by my desire to try my might at devouring an Archon demon. Call
Fair
upon
enough.
me at any time when you are not facing an Archon, and I will melt the flesh from your bones, then melt your bones for good measure and devour the liquefied remains.
Jeez, alright, you
But
big fly.
I do wish to see how I can fare against the flesh of an Archon.
Toralei grinned.
And you've got that pretty little stone that upgrades your summons now. I think that an upgraded unkillable dragon could go one-on-one against most of me siblings. So just imagine what it could do if it fought alongside you lot. Might even have a chance against Eldrorok someday.
You know what? Yes.
I felt crazy
I
for
accept.
considering it, seeing as how this beast even scared the slayers of cursed predators who had faced the most vicious beasts in the history of my world. But having the unkillable dragon as a summon was too tempting to pass up.
Exactly,
Plus, my
it's too
current beast in the
tempting.
brawl, Tikleos, was one of the few monsters in existence that had successfully calmed the unkillable dragon. The Slayers told me they'd once put these two in containment together, and Tikleos had an exclusively positive effect on the wretched dragon. Maybe this could end quickly without a fight even needing to occur.
Nope.
Though, I doubted that would be the case. All right, Toralei, Snag Bazmore, you have a deal. We'll finish this fight.
Correction. I will finish this fight.
Snag
Alright,
Bazmore
alright.
swooped off the side of the cliff down towards Tikleos, waiting patiently in the forest below. My ever-optimistic slime creature hurled its tentacles upward to meet the dragon. However, when they collided with it, nothing happened. The dragon continued to soar down, opened its maw, and spat a beam of purple and black flames. They swelled around Tikleos, eviscerating the trees all around it, making a foul stench burst across the field.
The smell of
I also
rot.
felt searing pain across my body. Whatever these flames were, they were clearly powerful enough to actually harm Tikleos. The dragon got closer, swooped through its own flames, and tackled my slime beast, swooping it up into the air. My creature, for once, had a distraught look on its face as it tried to hug the vicious dragon to no effect.
Your viscous flesh may have brought me peace before, but I have since adapted to your effects.
He
My
adapted?
body now produces a film that negates all external moisture from impacting me. You, however, are not immune to my flames.
Oh crap.
It rapidly halted its flight,
That ain't
and my
good.
creature
That ain't
flung
good.
off it. The dragon shot more flames at my beast as it fell, and I heard a tortured cry emanating from it that I felt deep in my soul. Seeing and feeling Tikleos in pain was unbearable. Before it even struck the ground, I released my summon, apologizing to it as I did. Perhaps I was
Sorry,
writing off
Tikleos.
Tikleos too quickly, but if its effects truly didn't work, then there wasn't much left for it to do, as combat was not its strong suit. The creature
It's a
vanished from the
pacifist.
battlefield back to the base of the Slayers of Cursed Predators, and I hoped it recovered quickly. The dragon snarled.
You had better have something more powerful waiting for me,
There's only
Summoner.
one left.
Do not waste my time with weaklings.
I was down to one final summon, but thankfully, it was the fiercest I had. I call upon the aid of Gojirolith. Summon forth, great beast.
Here we
A
go.
familiar, thundering cry bellowed across the battleground as the mighty ancient beast appeared. But I wasn't
Oh,
done
yeah.
with my summon yet. My stone had finished recharging.
Here we go.
I call upon the power of the Kuznets stone. Elevate the great beast, Gojirolith. Rainbow lights
Don't you know exactly what that means? It's time for the one, the only, ultimate Gojirolith.
burst from my wrist. To my shock, my own body hovered off the ground briefly as those same lights swirled around Gojirolith. The dragon's form, surprisingly, didn't grow. In fact, it seemed to get leaner. The spikes on its back did extend, though, and they shifted into a bright purplish-pink hue. More spikes grew from the tip of its tail, making its end like a glimmering axe. It also grew 2 more arms, making it no longer a wyvern and giving it more claws with which to brawl. Its body quaked with power as it flapped in the air next to me, leering at the unkillable dragon.
Oh yeah.
Ah, so the mighty Gojirolith.
Snagbazmor snarled.
You should have awakened to face me a very long time ago. Though it would be a fairer challenge for me to face your ancestor.
My mighty dragon roared once again, but this time the cry came with a cannon of pink atomic breath exploding from its throat. The strike immediately burned right through the unkillable dragon's wing and made it fall to the ground below.
Oh, hell
Before
yes.
hitting, however, it spun itself around and landed on its feet. As it slowly raised its head, its wing rapidly healed, with purple streaks and veins now forming through it.
You wasted your shot. That won't work twice.
Gojirolith soared
say
towards
that.
it, firing more of its atomic breath. The shot hit, but barely pushed Snagbazmor backwards. The pink flames just danced across its flesh, no longer having an effect. They almost
Okay, you
seemed as
were
though
right.
they were charging Snagbazmor's might. Still, Gojirolith continued to fire until it tackled its foe and bit into its shoulder. It drove it into the ground, thrashing its head back and forth, trying to tear its wing off.
A vicious bite you have, but it pales in comparison to my own.
Snagbazmor chomped onto Gojirolith's wing, and instantly I felt daggers piercing my flesh. Luckily, Gojirolith had faced worse. Still holding its grip, my dragon swung the unkillable
I mean, let's not forget, this Gojirolith did even survive the Cyphedomoph's technovirus thing.
dragon over its head and slammed it onto the ground behind it, so its belly was exposed. It then swung its axe-like tail and pierced right into the unkillable dragon's stomach. It hurt enough for the monster to release its bite. On top of that, Gojirolith's tail lit up in even more light. Then an explosion of purple flames burst from it inside the unkillable dragon's stomach. The monster shrieked in fury, but kicked the tail blade out of it and scampered backwards. Gojirolith just stood proudly, waiting for its foe to strike.
That's it.
Snagbazmor snarled and fired a beam of its own musky purple flame at Gojirolith, but my beast just let the flames wash over it. I was feeling uncomfortably hot, but Gojirolith was fine. It stomped slowly forward, moving through the flames, then spun around and slammed its tail into Snagbazmor's head. Unfortunately, this time the strike didn't pierce its flesh. The beast was just batted to the side before it quickly recovered and slammed its own tail into Gojirolith. They both began firing their distinct flames at one another, now to very little impact. Though the more Snagbazmor was struck, the more its body evolved. Its flesh became colored with purple streaks, the skeletal frame of its head hardened further, and the green skin around its maw melted away. Black hair stretched out from its skull, and the horns on the sides of its jaw grew. The more it fought, the more its body adapted to face Gojirolith. And yet, it was still not gaining an upper
That's why
hand
it
in the
looks
brawl.
different.
Eventually, Gojirolith got its claws into Snagbazmor's back and started flying straight up into the sky above. Snagbazmor slammed its tail into Gojirolith's back and wings, but it kept flying through the strikes. All the while, as they flew, Gojirolith's spikes were starting to glow more and more. I could feel
this is
my
gonna
own
be
body
awesome.
building with strength as well. Gojirolith was readying for a fatal burst of its breath. But it was unclear what it could actually do to the unkillable dragon.
Kiss of death?
When they were a few miles into the air, Gojirolith released Snagbazmor. He kicked it in the back as hard as he could, sending the dragon spinning towards the ground. Snagbazmor burst out its wings to recover, but before it could, Gojirolith shrieked and unleashed the most colossal beam it had ever breathed directly into Snagbazmor's back. The unkillable
Sounds like it's the Red Death spiral.
dragon's cry of pain was barely audible as it was shot right into the ground and overwhelmed in an eruption of purple flames. The forest all around it was leveled, and a swirling mushroom cloud burst up above where it had fallen. Unfortunately, through those clouds soon came the beating wings of the unkillable dragon once again. It soared nearly as fast as Toralai's bird demon and tackled into Gojirolith, relentlessly biting into its wings once again.
Imagine if this guy ever got any of these scenes animated. That would be the most hype shit ever.
Do you not understand, ancient beast? Whatever you do to me, I will simply adapt to it. There is no defeating me.
And so their brawl went on and on. Snagbasmore may have been able to adapt to everything, but Gojirolith was also determined enough to fight on no matter what. With the upgrade of the Kuznets stone, while Snagbasmore could harm it, the injuries did nothing to deter my mightiest summon. Though, admittedly, the brawl was taking its toll on me. Gojirolith was fine, but I was starting to grow exhausted. Summoning 5 monsters in a short period had been tiring enough, but beyond that, I felt every bite and burn. Plus, while the injuries didn't seem to be slowing it down, Gojirolith's count of wounds was steadily growing, while Snagbasmore's healed moments after occurring. On top of that, the more viciously these two fought, the more of the wilds around them were scorched. I knew Toralai could grow them back quickly, but there were still innocent creatures being burned up in their battle. Gaining the unkillable dragon as a summon wasn't worth the cost of this fight. Were this a genuine battle for the safety of our world, I would have kept it going, but eventually I realized I was fighting for little more than my pride. I was just about to release my summon when, to my shock, Toralai spoke up first.
Oh!
Alright, Snagbasmore, that's enough. We surrender.
The dragon looked at her from the skies above and roared.
What?
I've been trusted to protect this world, and instead I've been letting you burn up a pretty corner of it to ash, just because I wanted to see a good fight. It's not right. This battle is over. Terran and his summons win.
The dragon turned to Gojirolith in the air near it, sneered, then shot back down to the cliff behind Toralai.
You test my willingness to work under your command, Archon. Why should I not devour you here and now?
She crossed her arms.
Because you just saw the upgrade Terran was able to give his summons firsthand.
Yes!
I think you want an upgrade like that to take up against one of the other Archons in the future.
The dragon looked over at me. Despite seeing it battered quite badly by my own summon, it still gave me a frightful chill to look it in the eyes. It sprung off Toralai's cliff and landed behind me on my own. I turned to face it, tempted to leap off the cliff just to get away. Its head lowered until it was inches from me.
Remember this, Summoner. Call upon me at any moment when an Archon is not present and waiting for me to slay, and you will not survive long enough to regret the mistake.
You are...
Okay, now I'm actually hoping that when he does a summon it with an Archon and uses the Kuznet stone, it goes from the unkillable dragon and into the Scarlet Dragon. I.e., it becomes the Scarlet King. If he has not already done that. If he has, damn it.
Truly letting me make you one of my summons, then?
Do not presume you will have any power over me when you do call. But yes.
The thought sent an excited and somewhat fearful tremor through my body. I looked up to Gojirolith, thanked it for its aid in the battle, then released it to whence it came. My hand shook as I considered placing it on the snout of the unkillable dragon.
Make this fast, Summoner, before I change my mind.
I took a deep breath and placed my hand on its burning hot skeletal head. I hereby align with Snagbasmore and allow my consciousness to consider it another vessel. When it accepts my call, our souls unite as one.
Love it.
Purple and black streaks swelled around us both. A foul stench filled my nose like rotted flesh, and a new kind of power surged through my body. It felt sadistic, almost as though it were making me want to kill something just for the fun of it. It wasn't a sensation I enjoyed, but I could not deny the overwhelming strength I felt from this bond. All the aches in my body from the day's battle vanished. The bond was made, and the unkillable dragon was now one of my summons.
Oh yeah.
There. Now release me and don't call until the time is right.
I quickly released my summon, then Toralei sent him back to whatever poor world he'd just come from. There was a pause as we all took in that the battle was over. I was about to flop to the ground in exhaustion when Benny sprung up in a mech armor to the air between us. And in an unexpected twist, Toralei McFantarel surrendered, even though she probably could have won that given enough time, because she felt bad that her dragon was probably burning up a metric butt-ton of squirrels, or whatever lives in the woods around here. So, Peyrin and his Pokemon team and his big flappy Godzilla are the winners. Despite the chaos we'd all just witnessed, everyone cheered. Even the Slayers, who'd been made uncomfortable by the presence of Snagbazmor, seemed pleased with the outcome. And while I hadn't expected it, Toralei taking a knee in that battle just made me all the more certain she'd be a wonderful overseer and protector of my world, leaving me free to do more good work with my summons and friends.
C may be the youngest of the Archons, but C apparently is the most kind of them as well.
Out across the multiverse. The band of allies watching all parted ways as Toralei used her powers to regrow the forest. I was reminded of the incredible creation powers Archons had, as the forest went from smoldering ash to more lush than it had been prior to our battle in only a few moments.
Ooh,
it caused me
beautiful
to consider that she may be able to rapidly speed up Dresden's creation of the new Redemption Foundation he was starting. I tried to remember to keep that suggestion in mind for him. Soon, the only people remaining in the forest were Kayla, Astra, and myself. Astra had been spending plenty of time with Toralei in the village of Sethiel over the last week, and was likely heading back with her again, now that the battle was finished. It felt odd realizing that I no longer had a need to stick around my world, and could go spend time relaxing with Kayla in her realm, or the realm of the Shark Tank. I wasn't even sure what I wanted to do next.
It's all fun and games now.
I had some ideas. Toralei sidled up close to Astra flirtatiously, then asked me,
"So, you don't have to worry about this world anymore. What are you going to do with all your spare time? Spend more time with the missus?"
I looked at Kayla, happily knowing that would be part of my plan, then replied, "Well, I do think after all this I could use a few days relaxing with Kayla, though after that I was thinking it may be a good idea for us to go investigate that world the Archons are all so eager to invade. What can you tell me about Tarsa and the Archon's connection to M308?
The world of Mytholethal. Hell yes.
She grinned and put her hands on her waist.
"Astra, are you alright to stick around for a rather long story?"
Astra rolled her eyes. "Well, there are other things I'd rather do with you, but I guess I am curious about all the horrible things my mother has done that she neglected to tell me about. If you can tell us anything that might help us beat her, then I guess it's worth a listen." For the next few hours, Toralei told us a tale as intriguing as any I'd heard from my own world's history. It even gave me hope that there may be beings from that world who'd be able to help us defeat Tarsa. She had clearly done many horrible things to that realm in her time there, and even if the tale told was from millennia ago, like Tarsa, her foes from that realm may still be alive today. Apparently, that world even has its own unique breed of Reaper. Perhaps one that could help us against the other Archons.
Godswallow.
By the time the tale was done, I was certain that visiting that realm was a necessary step in defeating our multiversal foes. I looked to my love. "Well then, care to take a trip with me to a realm of gods and monsters?" She grinned. "Do you even have to ask?"
Hell yes.
I'd still take a few more days to rest and recover. But it wouldn't be long before Kayla and I set off in search of the legendary heroes of M308, Mythal and Ortis Phonemo.
Yes!
And,
yes!
of course, I remained open to the possibility of finding some new, exciting beast summons in that world, as well.
Yes, I'm so excited right now. I do not need to be this excited, but I am. This guy is just so damn good. I can't help but praise it.
I know I've been slacking on putting up posters from this series and
Don't
from some
worry
of the
about
other
it.
series recently on my Teespring store, but I'm definitely going to get a few up after this because I really think this one will make a cool poster, and the stuff from the last 2 episodes in this series as well. But anyway, that brings us to the end of another series. Like Vigilance and Mytholethal, this has wrapped up, and I'm still umming and ahhing a little bit about whether this will be a book. I'm thinking maybe even like a limited release or something, because it is kinda nonsense out of the context of multiverse tales. It doesn't stand alone as well as Mytholethal and Vigilance do, but I don't know, I'll figure it out. I still gotta get those 2 out first anyway. On Monday, I will finally be starting the Trismegistus Academy storyline, and I have written the first script for Fear of the Demon Hunters, so that'll be coming out either next Friday or the following Monday. Huge thank you again to everybody who's been supporting and watching the original.
Many of y'all probably already know it's out, but for those of you that haven't, it is out. But my reaction to that will not be out until the following Friday, when y'all are seeing this. And by the way, it's all gonna be awesome.
Stories, they're so much fun to make. I love getting to flesh out the stories more by doing longer running ones. I think it gives a lot more space for character development, and I'm stoked for the next ones that are starting up and to continue Starseed Psyche. But anyway, besides that, that's all for today, except of course for ending this video on some kind of positive or inspiring note.
What you
got? I want
got?
to leave people with today is a quote that I read on a page, I think it was called Third Eye Thoughts on Instagram, and they said, "You glow differently when your confidence is fueled by a belief in yourself instead of by validation from others."
That's not bad.
Nobody else has to believe in you for you to succeed. You just have to believe in you.
That's pretty
I
good.
hope that's inspiring. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next episode on Monday. Goodbye.
Alright everyone, well that's going to be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all of y'all next time when we flick back on. Till then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.